pedestal like they're we put them on a pedestal like they're these perfect people. You know what I mean? Like, so when they make a mistake, or like I did not know until the first fucking time that I went to the View. Speaking of the View, that there's cue cards. Like, I remember I was watching a special on Saturday Night Live, and they were talking about like the cue card writers, and I was like, wait, cue card writers? I was under the assumption that shit ended many, many years ago, and that most of these celebrity talk show hosts are just, I'm like, man, Jimmy Fallon is just like that clever to just keep coming up with all these questions, and I'm like, wow, look at how structured the show is, and he just knows when to go to commercial break, and I'm like, no. Then we start doing press, and you see the other side of it, and it's like, no, there are people signaling and doing all this extra shit. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, just
I want to say my opinion on the whole Whoopi Goldberg situation is really simple. So Whoopi Goldberg recently came out and said something that was not taken out of context, but was something that was just kind of the easiest way to put it is, I think that she tried with no malicious intent to oversimplify something that was more clearly a racial thing than it was more of like her point, or the thing that she said, and I'm paraphrasing, was that it was less about the race and it was more about the evil, basically the evil of humanity, of what, each person does to another because of, the horrible things that we do, which, while that's not wrong, slavery wasn't just about capital. It was also about the fact of inferior versus superiority. That's the main basis, the baseline of racism is.
But here's the first mistake. Well, I ain't even gonna say mistake because, well, she's a celebrity. So the first thing that sucks as a celebrity is the second that you open your mouth, this is the audience. Yep. We're listening. We are fully focused listening to what you're saying. So if you say the wrong shit, we're like, wait, what? Huh? And then, and then people go on, and some people take it out. She could have been like, those kind of people. Somebody out there in the audience is like, what does she mean, those kind of people? Does she mean trans? Does she mean? And then the next thing you know, it's all over social media, like, she hates this. So it's a fucking, so of course you have to choose your words carefully, unfortunately, because that's the society that sucks that that's the society that we live in.
The real, I think for me, I really hope that we're not going to continue down this path in society where now everything people say, everything is not under the same spectrum of, oh, this is all going to be this is the same baseline for it. So understand what I'm saying here, people. What happened to a society in which, as human beings, we're flawed animals? We make mistakes. You look at our intent, you look at what context something was in, and then you make a decision on the consequences if somebody made a wrong, like a mistake. Whoopi Goldberg and what she did was basically try to oversimplify, in my opinion, a very straightforward racial act in terms of the Holocaust, where the Jews were persecuted by the Nazis because these crazy motherfuckers, let me say that straight, I will Nazis really, really quickly. Nazis are bad. Let's move on. So, in understanding that, I know that she is smart enough to know that. She knows that Nazis are bad. She knows that what Hitler did in the Holocaust was bad. But the way that she tried to frame it would never come off in a way that's going to benefit her or have people. You have to understand that if you're trying to get a room full of people to understand what you are saying, you have to sometimes take a pause and think,
because they may not know exactly. Right. And then especially if you had somebody who is Jewish sitting in the front of the audience, they're like, wait, what did she say? Like, because you gotta think about that too. Like, somebody making their morning coffee, like, yeah, Whoopi on? Oh, what Whoopi talking about? The Holocaust? What?
Because it becomes, you know what it is that you got to think of it. You have to be sensitive, especially in that position, like a position of having a platform like The View, a fucking show that's literally watched by millions of people every morning for, all throughout the day.
And that has a live audience because you got to remember that too.
Live audience, the whole nine. So it becomes a ghastly thing where people can feel like you trying to oversimplify. I'm gonna use this dumbass phrase that Kanye West said, where I will say, as a person who thinks about things, I understand the stupid point that he was trying to make, but he fucked up real bad when he said, "Hey, slavery was a choice."
Yeah.
What? Now again,
wait, for who? That shit wasn't
like the very definition of slavery is the fact that like you are in a slave to someone, not by your own freaking decision, like an indentured servant, as they used to call it. It's like, I'm gonna pay you, you're gonna be my butler, you're gonna clean, you're gonna do this, you're gonna work for me in that sense. If I'm going to enslave you because it's like, well, I think I'm better than you and you have no power, I'm gonna take your power and I'm gonna control your life. That's not a thing where you have the control over. Now, I think if you go back to the conversation that he was having, I think where he was coming from was more of the don't be a menace in society when they was talking about we still slaves of the mind. Like, I think he was having one of those like bean pie moments, I like to call it. One of those like real, let me tell you something, brother. Come here, let me talk to you. And that was
what Whoopi said, about the Holocaust. Yeah, she said Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah.
Continue with the phrase though. What else did she say? Like, she didn't just say Holocaust.
Well, that's the only thing I could find. She did say some other stuff after that, but it definitely was. Like that. I think that's the main point. That's the main point that I think. That's the point I think that she got wrong with. Like, that's like saying like, black people in slavery, that ain't had nothing to do with race. Yeah, it did.
It did. Because it becomes a matter of, okay, so I'll put it to you this way. If you are thinking of it like somebody might say like, oh, slavery was all about just, supply and demand or capitalism and this, that, and the other. Great factors that contribute to the situation. So based on what she was saying, there is a contributing factor, but race was at the forefront. And I'll give you a great example. At the forefront of it, remember what used to pull our cars, Ronnie?
Horses.
Okay. So they were our slaves, basically. They were the ones that were pulling our cars and doing our stuff and tending, or using us, we were using them basically like they were a hammer or anything like that. And then we invented the motor. And then we stopped using them. We started driving cars. And it was like, okay, you gotta go now. That's it. That's not how slavery was. That's not how like the Holocaust or anything. Like, they were literally stealing people from their countries, putting them in camps and trying to force them to be what they weren't. Yeah. And it was based on the fact that because here's the thing. I don't know a single, and somebody, watching this and type in the comments and show me a picture for proof, because I'm gonna need proof. I don't remember these Nazis going and grabbing an Asian guy and going, you're of the Jewish religion, I'm gonna throw you in the camp. Like that wasn't
that wasn't a thing.
Legitimately, I am seeking out these people who look like me, who have the same skin tone as me and are of the Jewish, faith, and also from the area, and I'm gonna throw you in the camp because you're wrong and I am superior, so I know what's better than you. Like, that's the baseline of race. Now, my thing about it, and we can get into our, regular show. I know we're having a political moment here.
Yeah,
but
this is not. Yes, this is political. Ronnie and Markell political edition.
This just in. No, the main point I wanted to say with that was that I really think, yes, there should be consequences when somebody on her platform makes a mistake, which she got suspended. She apologized. And I think
suspension, I feel like suspension that's good enough. There should be no more. She made a mistake. God knows there's been celebrities that have done far worse. So let's just leave it at that and continue on. And not, and hopefully this, because I think that they did a Sister Act 3. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's coming to Disney Plus. Hopefully, this also doesn't kind of like either cancel that out or like, bring down the popularity. Because, sometimes when something happens, it kind of tarnishes, like Liam Neeson making any new movie at all now. I feel like you were like, not that interested anymore.
Where you just ignore whatever the person said. Like his situation, in my opinion, is vastly different.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. That's a whole nother.
From vastly different, because this guy literally said, like, I had some racist thoughts after I got mad about a friend of mine's having an experience with a black person. So I had the thought of mine to go out and try to randomly hurt or kill a person of that color, knowing full damn well it wasn't that person, but he just wanted to lash out at somebody of that skin
Yeah.
Kind of makes me look
I don't mean to laugh, but every time I think about that situation, I think about the journalist who was interviewing him, because he didn't ask for any of this information.
No.
He just started coming out like, and I'm like, he probably was sitting there like, I'm about to win the Nobel Prize. Like, holy shit.
So segueing over, speaking of racists, we just got a chance to watch the new episode of Peacemaker.
How did I know you were gonna say that? With Peacemaker's father, right?
White Dragon himself, the superhero of the racist people.
Did they create a fucking a racist like superhero costume? Like, what the fuck? I am thoroughly enjoying that show, by the way. And Vigilante is still my favorite fucking character. I just can't wait to see what he's even gonna say every episode.
Yeah, definitely I know there's been some comparison to him as like a DC Deadpool type, and I'm like, I can see the references and stuff like that, but he's definitely just like
he's just a little unaware of some of the shit that he, he's like, just one, I mean, then we'll talk about the synopsis, but just one moment in the show where it's a scene where him and Peacemaker are running from the cops, and he pulls out a big ass like machete knife, and he's like, well, when the chick got close, when the cop lady got close to them, and Peacemaker sees him, he's like, put that shit away. And he's like disappointed he can't kill somebody. I'm like, yeah. He thinks it's natural to just fucking murder somebody.
He's legitimately a sociopath who has no like rhyme or understanding of like simple things, like you don't just kill somebody because they could. But at the same time, he's also not very good at being a vigilante, because he does shit like when they called him and it's like, vigilante. He's like, this isn't vigilante. I don't even know.
Yeah, this is.
Dude, like, we know it. Like, I got
so just to put a little context on this, so we're talking about Peacemaker. This episode, 6 now? Episode 6. If you've been watching the show since the beginning, we found out Mern, which is the black guy. We found out in 5, at the end of 5, that he is also a butterfly, one of the alien creatures that inhabit bodies. And then in this episode, we find out that from, what the fuck is the chick's name? She has a crazy name, Obadiah.
Amanda Waller's daughter. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, Amanda Waller. Sorry, but yeah, we find out like that Hardcore and the other guy know that Mern is a butterfly. Odabiah. Yeah, we find out that they know that Mern is a butterfly, and then they're filling the other chick in. And they don't want him to tell. And my reason, I was talking about this with Jill, my reason why they don't want Peacemaker to find out about Mern is because we saw what he did in episode 5. He was just blasting him. He just gonna fucking kill Mern. So, but then we found out that the other thing we found out in this episode is that the butterfly that Peacemaker kept alive is basically the fucking leader of the bad guy fucking butterfly. We found out like they're divided and there's good guy butterflies and bad guys. And fucking the main bad guy, which I don't remember his name, that was in the politician dude, is the fucking one that John Cena killed. And I'm like, oh God. and then he winds up getting into the Asian cop lady, and I'm like, this can only be nothing but trouble.
Correct. Which I love that they built it up to this point, because I believe if not the next I think the next episode is the last episode. So they've definitely or the last episode this season. But I think they did a great job at building up. Like, I could tell where this episode was going in terms of, like, I knew the way they ended the tone of this show and the way that they ended the last episode. The last episode, Otabaya finds out that Mern is a butterfly by putting on Peacemaker's helmet. And she runs outside in the rain, and like Mern chases after her, and she screams, and it goes dark. And they go, "Oh my God, a butterfly, he's gonna attack her." And I could tell by the tone of the show that she wasn't going to be attacked, and that they were going to know about this, because a lot of this show is basically been the same thing, which is it's kind of, and they're not in a bad way whatsoever. It's still a good show.
I also like how when they come to the next episode, they literally pick up right from where the last episode left off.
Absolutely. And that's really cool. I think that what they're doing great here is that they have a lot of shock value in terms of the things that you're doing. Like, I wasn't aware of the fact that Eagly was going to be killing people.
Yeah, I had a feeling, though. Once we got the tone of this show definitely has a strong kick-ass vibe. Like, once we got that, I was like, yeah, at some point he's gonna peck somebody's fucking eye out or something.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. You saw him.
And then another thing that happened in episode 6 again that you got to give me in either season 2 or whatever. Kite Man was mentioned again in the beginning of this episode. John Cena goes to school and is doing like show and tell or something with the kids, and he talked about Kite Man again. I feel like they're foreshadowing that Kite Man, they're going to bring Kite Man live action.
I'm with you. I think that they're definitely going to bring Kite Man into this. I'm trying to look up the Kite Man from the Harley Quinn show, because I want to see who
yeah, see, like, and that's great. I feel like that's a great investment there, because that's why we're even thinking about it in the first place, because he's a hilarious character on the Harley Quinn show.
He is pretty awesome. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, so I was thinking maybe no offense to Matt Oberg, but I was going to say, maybe they'll have Kite Man appear in the show as like based on the actor who played him, because sometimes that's been happening recently, where the actor who plays them in animation does the voice acting, comes into live action and plays him. Like that happened in Mandalorian. The chick who plays the voice of Bo-Katan is literally the live action version of Bo-Katan in the show. And I'm like, oh, well, they just made that crossover very smooth. So
wait, is that Bo-Katan? Is that the chick from Flash? The one that had the metal bracelets? That's Bo-Katan, right?
That's the one that was the leader of the group, the little group that you met that was with what's her name? Well, her real name is Mercedes, but Sasha Banks, your girl.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that she was the leader of them. Which, like, she'll be a problem later. She's not going to be a problem right now, but she'll be a problem later. She'll most likely be a problem in the Ahsoka show. But
what's crazy? An actor that I thought could play a good Kite Man is already used in Peacemaker, and it was the Asian cop's partner. That guy, remember him from White Chicks? I thought like he would have been perfect, but they already used him in this show. So I'm like, damn it.
I mean, he would have been nice. I don't think he's in the right shape, because Kite Man is actually like in shape to fly, as
maybe somebody like Bill Hader or something. I don't know. They got to get somebody. It's got to be somebody who has some good comedic timing.
Let's see. Doing a quick fantasy casting of Kite Man. I'm gonna be honest. Just because I love like when worlds collide, I personally want another wrestler. And I just can't think of somebody off the top of my head, whether it be AEW or WWE. I just want another wrestler to wind up being him. Like, it could be like, could you imagine if Kite Man was like played by Cody Rhodes?
That would be hilarious.
Like blonde hair, thinks he's cooler.
You know who could be? I don't know if he can act, but Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Just because he's physically fit, and his character in WWE is already kind of a dick. So that's
why I was thinking.
And it would be also a meta joke, because he's not you know, if his relationship with John Cena and WWE, they ain't never been on the same page. So
it's like, I know you. I know where you're from. Yeah, we come from the same world. And it's like, I see the meta joke you're doing there. Yeah, but great addition. I'll put him at the top of the list. If you're pulling out of WWE, he's top of the list for me from there. But yeah, like I think that would be interesting. Like, of course, I think they could do something like they did with Vigilante. Like Vigilante.
Oh yeah, they could use like some no-name actor that we're not even that familiar with. Because yeah, Vigilante's doing a great job. I feel like that guy's definitely gonna have a huge following.
Just see. I'm just checking to see who that actor is. Actually, I don't know who that is.
Oh, Vigilante?
Yeah, who the actor is.
I know he played on Bridgerton. That's all I know about him.
It's kind of cool. I was looking him up here. Their costume is done really, really well. Like,
and I was telling you, I think from the last episode, that actor who they picked wasn't even the first choice. It was another guy, but he didn't agree. They had a lot of creative differences with HBO. He wound up quitting. That's how we got the Vigilante actor we got. But I think he was an excellent choice.
Josh Segura? No, that's not the right one. Who the fuck is this? No.
That's the yeah. If you Google it, I think the original guy they chose comes up.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say like Peacemaker cast here. Peacemaker. I'm looking it up now. I'm like trying to see who is this guy. Dun dun dun. As you guys can see behind the curtain, we do not plan this. This is all here chatting with you guys because we love this stuff and like we're just nerds just like you guys. Let me see cast. To the cast of it, obviously.
I think it's Freddie Stroma. I think it's Freddie Stroma.
I'm looking up his bio.
Yeah, right okay, yeah. The original guy was Chris Conrad. That's who it was gonna be, but he left because of creative differences. Now I'm guessing I don't know what those creative differences were. Maybe half the shit that they wanted him to say and do, he was like, "What the fuck? I'm not doing this." You know, like I mean, Vigilante is a pretty like very unfiltered character, so maybe he wasn't comfortable saying or doing half that stuff. Where the Freddie Stroma guy showed up, like, yeah, like whatever.
What I'm gonna say right now is Freddie Stroma. You could deny this if you want to, but I'm looking at your resume, and it looks to me like you are in the pocket of Warner Brothers. Let me just point out some of his movies: Harry Potter, Warner Brothers. Suicide Squad, the earlier one with the shitty Joker. He was in Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. He was in
now I gotta look for him.
Yeah, and then now he's in Peacemaker. He had a bunch of other stuff in between here that's like, you know.
Okay, so that's cool. So that means like they went with someone they had a relationship with in the past. So they're like, that also tells me maybe HBO was like, shit, maybe they want a tight budget and they like make a couple of phone calls to people they know.
Yeah, I wonder who he was in Harry Potter. They're gonna make me look that up. Freddie Stroma in Harry Potter. I don't know who they are.
And then he's a nice looking guy. They managed to make him look like a dork, and you know, in Peacemaker,
he is definitely a dork. Oh wow, he looks like a dork in Harry Potter. He was one of the he had like he had a small part. He was one of the kids at the Quidditch game when Harry Potter was playing the Quidditch game. He was on the opposite team. He looked like he was just like he's just supposed to look like a dick, and that's what he looks like. Like let me show you zoom in on the picture there. And he was also
he's from London. That means he might actually have a British accent too, which is even more hilarious because like then he does a spot on, really good English, you know, accent.
Wait a second.
This is him? Yeah, that's what I said. Like, this guy looks like a supermodel there.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I'm just like, wait, what? Doesn't make sense? Vigilante looks like some guy that has never been laid before.
And now they made him look like fucking, what's his name? McLovin. What do we call him? A cross between McLovin and Hit Girl?
Yeah. Now movie magic. Now movie magic got him. I want to give a shout out in this show to John Cena. I think John Cena is doing some of his best work.
Definitely. His dialogue, everything is just, And I love the the chemistry he has with all the characters, but his chemistry with Vigilante is just hilarious.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, he's asking him questions. He's like, yes or no answers. Yes or no answer. And it's just like, he's like, so what is your favorite color? It's like, what the like, really?
That's another thing that's hilarious about the show is like John Cena acts like he doesn't give a shit about this guy, but yet this guy like has access to his house. You see, he just walked in, he just doing stuff. I'm like,
he's like, dude, I knew it was you. He's like, how'd you know? You have an annoying knock. And it's like, oh, okay.
And no matter how much of a dick Peacemaker is to him, he will like give some comebacks, then he'll apologize. Like even when he threw his phone out, like saying he could trace the phone, he threw the phone out the car. He's like, "It's a burner phone, you asshole," or whatever. Give me your phone. And he was like, "No, I'm not." Okay. Like,
because they're both losers without friends. They're both losers without friends, and especially in this whole situation, those two can really commiserate with one another because they're very similar in a sense. Like they both dress up in some form of spandex outfit or like, you know.
The only difference is what John Cena, Peacemaker is growing a conscience about who he kills sometimes. Vigilante doesn't have one. He will fucking murder anybody. And laugh about it. He thought the other people that were getting killed by the cops, he thought that shit was hilarious. Like, what the fuck?
See, the thing, you have a dynamic there where at the same time we're watching and enjoying Vigilante. I have not read it because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, but I don't know. In my head, I keep saying to myself, Vigilante could also be a very, very good nemesis of Peacemaker because of the fact that he knows him and he knows stuff about him.
Well, yeah, that's true. If they ever wanted to try that in the future, because he's dangerous and it's a guy who has no friends. So if he became a bad guy, he'd really be fucking dangerous because he has nothing to lose. That makes him even more dangerous.
A guy like that is basically being kept sane from, like, if you think about it, this guy was out doing vigilante work on a regular basis before he decided to join up with Team Peacemaker and try to save the world from aliens.
One thing I don't think though, because I was like, would they make a spinoff vigilante show? But then like, I don't think he's smart enough to be off on his own. I think he'd get killed.
To me, Vigilante is a perfect. I'm gonna tell you who Vigilante is a perfect candidate to work for. Amanda Waller. He's a perfect candidate to be with Amanda Waller because on the very simple fact that he's a guy that legitimately go, hey, you see that guy over there? He rapes kids. Kill him. And he's like, you want it done in the morning or the afternoon? Like, it's no.
Yeah, and that's the other psychotic part of him, which is the guy will fucking, won't hesitate to blow somebody's fucking head up, but he actually does stand for right and wrong because, like, hey, that guy's racist. He shouldn't be doing that. Like, he will fucking kill you for being a racist.
What a warm sense of justice he has. That's
still my favorite episode. I think was 4 when he went to the jail and he was like, hey, let's play a game. Let's see how many contributions that black people did that we all stole, huh? I'll go first.
Let's start with rock and roll. Like, that was fun. I'm go ahead and push my nerd glasses here for a second. Here's what's very interesting about the dynamic between Peacemaker and Vigilante. What's very interesting about them, and bravo to James Gunn. So Vigilante, usually when that's why I kind of feel like he could become a nemesis or just a really great ally. We'll see. He is essentially a dark mirror. Most villains are dark mirrors of the hero. So he's basically, when we first meet Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad, the better version of the Suicide Squad, when we meet him, he is basically what Vigilante is in real life. When you look at those two, he really is that dude that will, like, I will kill for peace. Like, I will kill to bad guys with no problem, no questions asked. I'm gonna go work my shift, and when I get off my shift, I'm gonna go kill bad guys for 4 hours, go to sleep, go, jerk off, whatever, and then, like, go do a thing. but you find out from the show that Peacemaker is really not that person that he's boasting his chest up to be.
That he's like pretending to be.
He's kind of being that guy because he has to be that guy in his head, because we learned about why is basically the point of the show.
And then the ultimate test came. The ultimate test came when he was told to kill a fucking kid. Like, then that was like, whoa, like, just for like not even knowing if this kid is actually a butterfly or not. Even though contradiction of his own self, because in Suicide Squad he said like, I kill any man, woman, or child, to get to. But now he's going against what the shit that he said in the first place.
Because it goes back to, again, the death of Rick Flagg, because I know a lot of people hated that, but it goes back to his final words, which is like been a running theme of this show, which is Peacemaker. Huh, what a joke. Which is like that's his last dying words that John Cena saw in killing this guy. And you can even see when he was fighting Rick Flagg, I think he would have preferred to just stop Rick Flagg. I don't think that he was trying to murder him. No. He was part of the lines of, I have this gun and you have a thing I want. So give me that thing I want and I can be out of your way. And like that drive has to be disappeared. We can hate each other, but like, I got to do my job because like, I can't fail the mission, which is, again, from learning from the show, you're learning that comes from his upbringing, being the fucking son of a superhero white supremacist. Like, still,
not to mention, like, so far from what we know, it seems like he might have killed his own brother.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't
like they've only shown us bits and pieces, so we don't know 100% if he is responsible for killing his brother. I mean, because it could have been the dad making him think he's responsible, but could have been some other shit going on too.
Yeah, and it becomes down to a point where it's like he's going to have like everything. If you notice this episode, what I liked about this episode is the fact that everything is coming to a head. Basically, the cop that you've been following around gets possessed by one of the main bad guy butterfly. She gets a whole group of butterflies from around the world and literally infects like half the town.
The entire fucking police department, which is like the worst people you could have the bad guy have in their pocket. Oh, we also got Hardcore to kind of let her guard down to John Cena and even tell him her first name.
Yeah.
That's another thing that happened too. What was it? Amelia.
Which I think is really, really, really important in terms of character development. Like that's the thing where you can tell most of these, I'll put it to you this way. The great casting and the great, storytelling of this show is that every single one of the people who are on this team has some type of insecurity that they are basically masking with something. If you think about it, like, except for Mern, who it turns out Mern is not who the fuck you thought he was.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right about that. The only one was, what's the dude with the glasses name?
Yeah, he's fighting with insecurity. He's a fat bag of fucking insecurity.
I mean, he is, but he's probably the only one that we don't know if he has like any dark secrets. We know Hardcore is like just keeping her walls up and not really, but now it's just slowly coming down a little bit with her telling John Cena her name and telling him he's not 100% a piece of shit. 85. And we know the other chick is Amanda Waller's daughter, which is still funny, like, whenever they find that out, because like everybody else, we're finding out all this shit out about the other characters and they're devastated, but nobody knows that this fucking chick is the daughter of the fucking Amanda Waller, which is probably gonna make all of them fucking angry.
Which what we're seeing is we are watching these ticking time bombs, all of these ticking time bombs that are basically at the beginning of the show, when you're introduced to all these characters, James Gunn basically put a clock on each person. And at some point in time, these guys are all going to come close enough to each other to boom, implode. And whatever's left is pretty much what's going to go into season 2. Because her secret her secret of being connected to Amanda Waller is going to completely break the trust of everybody with her, because it's like, yo,
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that we probably know the answer to this too already, but I'm like, being that this show is actually so good, I wonder if we're gonna see other shows spurl out of this show. Because they're not that great with the movies. They're hit or miss with the movies, but they do make some good TV series. So I'm wondering if, if Peacemaker will open the door to other DC shows. So, they can start to get more characters rolling out. Same like MCU. Because think about it. It's, not a coincidence that, we got Falcon Winter Soldier and all that stuff. And now we got Peacemaker. I'm pretty sure this ain't the last time that fucking DC probably got some other shit in the works for more shows so they can compete.
I think so, but I think that they're going to still take the Marvel approach because Marvel, from a comic book standpoint, Marvel has written the book on this already. So they're already doing it. They have a development, another character from the Suicide Squad that they are developing, right? So what you're
but we don't know who that is yet, right?
We don't know who that is yet. What they're doing is they're basically taking a property. This is the magic formula of Disney and Marvel together. They take a movie, usually. Take a movie, a successful movie, and break it up into pieces. They've been doing this shit forever. I'll give you a great example. X-Men. Literally, the X-Men, the Avengers, you name it. They take a successful property that has multiple people with multiple stories that will take time to break up. And then they take whatever they consider to be the character that the least about, but has got a ton of fucking screen time. Like my prediction for the next person that they're probably going to do is going to be Idris Elba's character, the Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
That would be my prediction for it. Only because I'm also an Idris Elba fan, so I'm thumbs up to that. Like he's already a guy who's already used to TV. But then here's a second person that you can do. My second prediction of a person that they can do is Rick Flagg. For all of the Rick Flagg fans out there, the one you were crying because he died.
I was actually gonna say the rat chick.
You kind of got that story, but think about it this way.
You can do that. You could even give us a Harley Quinn fucking show. Hey, there ain't a comic book fan alive that tell me if you give me a show with Margot Robbie that you're not gonna be like, yo, I'm there, popcorn, let's do this.
I'm gonna tell you this way. I'm okay. So I'm gonna give you the business side of this too. You ready for this? Rick Flagg don't cost that much money. Idris Elba likes to do TV. He will cost money, but then you also got to think to yourself, well, if Idris Elba got a show, it would be a pretty goddamn big thing because
it's not his first show though. He's got the other one, Luther.
I love all the TV he does. He did The Wire. I remember this. But here's the thing. This is where I feel like for me, the choices of Rick Flagg, going off of what you said, Rick Flagg or Bloodsport, to me, are the ones that I think will be the ones to get the next show. It's simply because they both have a strong connection to Peacemaker. What we are watching with Peacemaker right now is Peacemaker essentially become a hero, or at least an anti-hero, right? So what's the thing that you can do to really add a level of challenge? Let's say for instance, I'm gonna give you just an analogy. Let's say for instance, you became a crackhead, Ronnie. Let's say you crackhead. and you, after being a crackhead, you done stole money from your kids. You done slapped some people around. You done did some crazy.
Look, let's do the show this week. I can't. I sold my phone.
I sold my phone.
I sold my phone and my laptop. I'm talking to you from work.
I gotta go. Now, imagine if the people that you have had the most connection with, or the people that you've hurt the most, if you had a show where you went to rehab and you got better, now you're working a good job, you're writing, you're doing this, that, and the other, and this and that, and this, that, and the other, and the people that you hurt, if you got a chance to see your story from their perspective, think about Bloodsport. Him and Bloodsport and Peacemaker had a freaking gun draw battle, and he literally shot this dude in the throat and tried to kill him. So not only is it a challenge to the hero to be the thing that he said he wasn't going to be, he's like, I'm going to be a hero. But what happens when the dude who almost murdered you comes back into your life? Does he want to try to murder you again? Or
I'm pretty sure. If Bloodsport's in the same room with John Cena and sees that he lived when he thought he killed him, I think he would be quick to try to do it again.
Correct. And now at the same time, they're like, well, hold on a second, Peacemaker, but you've had all this progress.
And actually, you know what? That would work too, because we know, remember the dialogue through the rat chick when Bloodsport showed up, she told him that Peacemaker killed Rick Flagg. So he knows that he fucking killed him.
You're a piece of shit. So now you have Peacemaker who's at this now. Let's take your crackhead, your pretend crackhead story, and Ronnie's a monk and he's at peace. And he's all in this moment. And then I come back around, it's like, hey, I still can't walk because you stole the brake fluid out of my car, so I crashed my car and I'm still paralyzed. And it's like, but I'm Zen master. Like, so Peacemaker in this same instance would be at a better place with all the shit that's happened in the show, and then this happens. Now, the other part where I feel like I'm speculating here. The other part where you go on the other side of it, which is Rick Flagg, where there's story there, which is the fact that what is Rick Flagg's main job when it comes to both movies that he was in, both Suicide Squad. He was in both.
His job was mostly to keep the team together.
How many times has he done that, and how long has he done that for Amanda Waller?
Oh, a lot.
So you literally can just take him and just go, here's another Suicide Squad. Here's another one. Here's another one. Now you're introducing all these other DC villains and characters that you haven't
that makes sense because there's tons of other people that's just like the Avengers. Like, most people just know the core, but there were mad other people who became Avengers. So that makes sense.
And then, like, the other thing too, like, remember the funny scene with him and Bloodsport and Peacemaker are killing those people in the village, and they show up, and Flagg is sitting there and he's talking to the lady, and it's like, oh, he already knows this lady. Well, how does he know this lady? You got to find out in season 1 of Rick Flagg. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what, you don't have to do that.
I mean, that could work. I feel like I would watch it, but I would be annoyed just at the fact that I know what happens to this guy. But it could work, because I did say that about.
Are you saying that you wouldn't watch Black Widow knowing that she died already?
No, I was gonna say that because I'm like, I wasn't a fan of the Lord of the Rings prequels at first, because I was like, well, I already know what happens to Gandalf. I know he's not gonna die. But then when I actually sat in the theater and I watched the first Lord of the Rings prequel, I was like, this is actually pretty good. So
you don't know what happened. You don't know how we got
I know what happens, but so like any character, I feel like, and then just if you want to pick Rick Flagg or whoever, I feel like, even fucking Pete Davidson's character, like, learning their backstory and where they came from and how they got to this point, it's always fucking interesting to know all that stuff.
It is. And like I said, the thing is just expanding upon a world that you created a Suicide Squad, an element of, okay, this is the group of people who do these impossible missions. Let's say what it is. I'm gonna look around. It's the A-Team, Ronnie. That's all it is. But it's A-Team.
Yeah. Speaking of that, have you watched? Are you caught up on The Flash?
No.
Oh man, you got to catch up on that. This is the only thing I'm gonna say. I love this dialogue that Grant Gustin keeps saying on the newest one. I upgraded. I'm like, oh my. Like, something happens and he gets upgraded, and it's like so fucking awesome, because I'm like, all right, I mean, you know that happens anyway. As the show progresses, your hero, as your villains get stronger, so does your hero. So something happens and Barry gets stronger in this one, but it's like a running thing for 2 episodes where he keeps saying, like, I upgraded. I'm like, it's just hilarious.
I don't know why they, like, Berlanti verse that was on the CW was a perfect example of, if you build it, they will come. Like, you can build a strong universe different characters. And if you build it proper and don't try to just repeat the same formula over and over again, I think that's what really hurt shows like Arrow. Arrow started out on its own thing, but after like maybe season 2, it just became a Batman show that you weren't getting. Like you just weren't getting Batman, but you were getting all of Batman's like villains and moments and stuff like that. And of course, you got Green Arrow.
I think some people feel the same way about the Flash. I for one I still like it. I got a little bit tired of them losing because I'm like, I know that heroes don't always win, but I feel like for the last 2 or 3 seasons, the writers and the producers came up with this running thing like, what if the heroes don't win during the mid-season? And then what if they don't win at the series? I'm like, wait, what? What are you? So I'm like watching this like, wait, they don't win? So they don't stop this one? Oh, shit, he does get sacrificed? Like, and you're watching, and I swear there's like 2 seasons where, Cisco and everybody, and they're doing their thing. If I can coordinate this, and they do all this stuff, and they still fail. And I'm like, oh, shit. It don't work, and they fail, and then this person dies, and Barry literally becomes the guy like, it's okay, I promise, and all his fucking promises never fucking go through. But finally, in these last 2 seasons, not even a spoiler, but I feel like if you're a longtime fan and you're still sticking with it, you kind of get a lot more satisfaction. I didn't know that season 8 was possibly going to be the last season. Because they hadn't renegotiated a contract with Grant Gustin. I believe they're in the final stage of that, and it looks like thumbs up. I'm gonna get all the money and stuff I wanted. But I think they are saying that season 9 may be the last season, which I'm okay with. All the shit that I've watched and witnessed on the Flash, from Zoom, Reverse Flash, God's one villain. Oh, I got him right here. One villain who I thought didn't get his proper due on the Flash was this motherfucker right here, Godspeed. I thought like he had a couple episodes where like they showed him and then stuff, and then the Flash stopped him like super fast, kind of like Whiplash with Iron Man. I'm like, that's it. But then if you watch the season after the Mirrorverse, it's not even a spoiler. The season after the Mirrorverse, the fucking main villain is this guy. And this guy is a beast in this season. I'm like, okay, all right. So I feel like I got the fucking, I got what I wanted from Godspeed. So cool. Because I always thought he was kind of an underrated villain, but then you finally get what, you kind of wanted in this next season.
I'm with you. Speaking of, since we're talking about like other shows besides Peacemaker that we've watched, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know what the plan is in terms of the book of Boba Fett, but I'm gonna say completely out of order.
I was gonna say I haven't watched any of it, but you can say spoilers because I watched. I listened to
spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it.
Because I listened to some of Fat Man Beyond, and they spoiled the shit out of the main big. Oh shit! I didn't know that happens, but okay.
No. So these last 2 episodes, so they're currently, I think they've been following the same like amount of episodes as Peacemaker, or they might be one behind. I think this was episode 7 this week. So we've gotten to this point now with 2 episodes back to back of just the Mandalorian, and I'm sorry, but we're on the book of the Boba Fett, but we're getting the best episodes from the Mandalorian. Kind of weird. Like you're watching.
Yeah, I heard it was like fucking awesome.
like you watch this shit and it's like these 2 episodes is better than any fucking thing that Boba Fett is doing in this show, and it's kind of weird, but I get it, and I'm not.
So far, are you saying that Boba Fett is the Danny Rand in this series?
Not at all. I think.
Because I know from what I hear and read on Twitter and stuff like that, doesn't seem like people are feeling Boba Fett like they were the Mandalorian series.
I'm gonna tell you a couple of different things. We're gonna take Boba Fett. We're gonna put him on the side for a second. We're just gonna bring back the shiny helmet Mandalorian. The one thing that I see as a consistent complaint with Boba Fett that people love about the Mandalorian, he keeps his fucking helmet on. Like the whole show. Like you're sitting there watching Mandalorian, and everything he does, he looks cool. Yes, he looks cool because he's literally wearing the helmet the whole time.
I am also, yes, I am showing off my holy grail Mandalorian pop too.
I understand. If you got something that expensive, then you show it. The thing that I was about to reach over the camera behind here and pull out like my Spider-Man action figure, my Amazing Spider-Man that's currently at $280, but I'll leave it over there. We don't want. There's no reason to action figure flex. There's no reason to do it. So the thing is that like this last episode, let me just talk about the last episode. The last episode is just 47 minutes of just dope shit. Like that's all. That's it. You wait. Let me see. Did you ever want to know like what Luke Skywalker was like now after like Return of the Jedi in terms of him being like a Force user and actually a Jedi Master?
Yeah.
Yes. Sure. You'll get the best CGI work of Mark Hamill being fucking Luke Skywalker and training. You get him training Grogu, and he's literally training Grogu. You can take the fucking training he had with Yoda side by side, where he's now training Grogu, and then just like not even going into any of the other things. Ahsoka shows up, and I'm just like, oh look, it's Rosario Dawson. I'm here. Like you get all of the and then at the end of it, you go into a point where you get Luke Skywalker going to Grogu and saying, listen, the Mandalorian has given you armor to wear. I have Yoda's lightsaber. I'm going to put them down here on the mat. Grogu, you must choose. Do you choose the Mandalorians or do you choose the way of the Jedi? Credits. I'm like, what is happening? What? How?
Yo.
Wow. What is he? Like,
okay,
so
we gotta. All right, so I definitely got to catch up on Boba Fett. Now.
You know what? Just skip the first 4 episodes. Just go to the like 5 and 6 on Mandalorian. That's what
I'm gonna watch.
You gotta watch those things. But okay, so now bring Boba Fett back into the situation. So Boba Fett in this show is not a problem. It's just for me.
Is he not living up? Do you think he's not living up to the hype that everybody was expecting? Because people wanted Boba Fett and stuff like a show and different for years. He finally got it, but I feel like people ain't feeling it like they feel the Mandalorian.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show 2 pictures on screen. Why I think people are not necessarily really getting into the show, and I'm gonna just keep it simple, right? Okay. I'm just show you a nice picture of Boba Fett. Boba Fett's in a cool way. All right, Boba Fett's here. All right, let me turn my camera so that way you get Boba Fett. It's a Wikipedia page. All right, so you see that guy there?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Woo! Boba Fett, man, let's bring it into the camera. There you go, Boba Fett, guys. You see that? That's Boba Fett. That's Boba. You ready? Okay. Now I'm gonna show you what you get in this show. All right, you ready? Let me see. Let me go ahead and close it. I'm gonna show you what you get.
I already know. I feel like I already know what you're about to show.
I'm gonna show you what you get in this show. This nigga. Aquaman's dad from Aquaman. This is what you get. He spends more time looking like that than looking like the first picture that I just showed you. I accept it as a new Star Wars fan. I'm a new Star Wars fan. Like I recently, within the last 5 years, have binged all of the Star Wars. Like I watched the new shit, The Force Awakens, all that stuff. But
you know what that made me? You know what that made me think of? I'm like, so most of the show you get Murphy without the helmet from RoboCop.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck?
It's like
put the helmet on,
Murphy was cool without the helmet, but we prefer RoboCop with the fucking visor on his head.
Come on, that's a perfect analogy. What I understand. This is what you get. You on Disney Plus, like.
I feel like maybe thinking of RoboCop, maybe that was an approach they should have took. Maybe if you're gonna give me that, maybe you should have fucked the Boba Fett up real bad when his helmet gets destroyed, so he looks like this.
Yeah, I want to show you something else that they did That was just like, all right, man. Okay, so there's a bounty hunter that's really dangerous in the Star Wars universe. His name is Cad Bane. This dude's like half man, half fish, or some shit. Like he's a straight up alien, and he looks amazing, right? So I'm gonna show you what he looks like in the. I'll show you what he looks like in the cartoon series because he comes from like Clone Wars series, right? Let me go to Cad Bane. Cad Bane's pretty awesome.
Oh shit, I know Cad Bane. That's the blue dude.
Yeah. Wait, do you have a
Oh
Funko Pop?
shit! Wait, they brought Cad Bane to life.
Wait. I'm just gonna show you. See, that's what he looks like, right?
Holy shit! I didn't even know that they did that.
Now, wait. He was in the new episode. Wait. Now let me show you. Let me show you that Disney money. I'm gonna show you some of that Disney money because this is what happened when he showed up in the fucking show. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you got that Disney money, huh? You got that Disney money. That's live action.
Yeah, he looks fucking awesome.
He looks better than Boba Fett. He fucking looks like Cad Bane. Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, that's dope. Oh, that explains why his toys and stuff are going up in value. I didn't know that they brought him into the show. That's dope.
He just came in and had a cool moment where he literally shot and almost killed one of the guys. And he came in because he's the main villain in Boba Fett is this group called the Syndicate, which funny enough, it's funny because if you watch Force Awakens and the new movies, you realize that Boba Fett is not going to be successful in getting rid of the Syndicate because the Syndicate is around in Force Awakens. That's 30 years from now. So, I don't know what they're probably on another planet. I understand. Maybe he wins on Tatooine.
Maybe he destroys like a division within the Syndicate, but not the entire thing. Like, oh shit, our Eastern war got destroyed. Oh shit, we got to hire some new people.
Because all of the Syndicate is like fish type people. So I was just like, yo, I'm gonna tell you, just do yourself a favor. Anybody, not just you, Ronnie, but anybody watching this or listen to this, do yourself a favor. If you haven't watched this show yet, just go on YouTube and just pull up the scene, first appearance of Cad Bane in the show. First, they show him in the distance, some dude walking, and all you see is just a big hat, and he's walking in the desert, and people are like, "Who is that?" And I was just looking at the screen, like, "Nigga, is that Cad Bane? Nigga, is that Cad Bane?" I think, and then wait.
That's kind of cool. That makes me think that it might be possible to see Gunslinger spawn in maybe live action one day too.
Wait, and then wait. I'm gonna show you one more time, just so you guys can see. Look at those fucking eyes.
Like, look at them teeth too.
The teeth. They don't even show you him right away. He's talking to Timothy Olyphant's character because he returns as well. Because again, Mandalorian is just a better show.
That's what I said. That's what I said. It sounds like we putting Boba Fett in the same category as fucking Iron Fist.
He's not Iron Fist. That's what I'm saying. Iron Fist is worse. Like, he's good. But the thing is, right?
The only thing that would make that even more hilarious if the actor that played Danny Rand shows up in Boba Fett. Like, no,
what are you doing there? Like, get out of here. God. Like, to me, they did it perfectly. They gave him the Undertaker thing. You know how the Undertaker does the, like, he's talking and all you see is those teeth and he's got his hat down.
Oh yeah, they kind of do like the Wild West cowboy thing where you go
perfectly. And then again, it's on my screen. After he does the eyes down thing, it just comes up like, you shouldn't be. And I'm looking at his eyes like, oh.
And then most fans are like, yo, that's Cad Bane.
Yes. And wait, here's the problem. Wait, I go, there's a Mandalorian. Wait. In this episode, one episode.
No, one question I do have. Why is Boba Fett missing in action in these episodes? What happens to Boba Fett? Does he get like locked up or knocked out or something?
Okay, so you want to know where Boba Fett is at this point in time. So at this point in time, right before the series goes, we need to jump to the Mandalorian because we're trying to get you to watch season 3 in a couple months. So Boba Fett is deciding he's going to take down the Syndicate. Like, he's taken over the area where Jabba the Hutt, his boss, he's taken over that area, and now he, as the new boss of the area of where Jabba the Hutt was, he came to everybody else who were all like crime bosses, like the fucking Godfather, literally, sits down at the table with them and says, listen, there's the Syndicate that's a problem for all of us. if you let me take care of the syndicate, we all can have good business here. We're all under like warlords, but the syndicate is a problem who is going to wipe all of us out. They all agree, all right, Boba Fett, you go out and fight the syndicate and we'll all keep peace. We won't like interact with the syndicate while you're doing it. Go do your thing. And then he goes, all right, well, it's just me, it's Ming Na Wen, and like a few other like folk that he hired. I'm gonna need some more muscle. So he gets Finnick, which is Ming Na Wen's character, to go get the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian, still cool with him from the Mandalorian show. So that's how you go, okay, where's the Mandalorian right now? They jump to episode 5 where they show you what's going on with the Mandalorian since he dropped Grogu off and gave him Luke Skywalker to go train. He's off still doing missions. Yo, I'm gonna take my glasses off. Nigga, if you watch episode 5 when they show this nigga, I got it right here. This is how bad. I'm gonna show you this big motherfucker right here. You see this? This is the dark saber. I'm gonna go ahead and press the button for it.
Oh, nice.
Yes. It's a huge it's a lightsaber blade. Okay, it's a lightsaber blade. Remember, at the end of Mandalorian, he has that blade. So he has a cool bounty hunter scene where he's wielding a sword. Hey, Boba, you ain't got that at all in the whole series. He shows up and he's got a lightsaber sword. Now, the funny thing, there's a funny thing that happens in the episode, and this is not spoiling anything. So, I don't know if you know this about lightsabers, but the reason that Jedi use lightsabers and nobody else uses lightsabers is that if you fuck up with a lightsaber, it can hurt you because it's a laser sword, basically. So literally during the episode, he's fighting and he can't really control the lightsaber. So he swings it at a guy and cuts his own leg.
Oh, shit.
Like, the Mandalorian is hurt now because he hurt himself. And like the guys are like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And he just like, hold on a second. Like, and then he gets mad. And literally there's a moment where he literally chops a dude in half with a samurai sword. And I'm like, all right,
shit.
Listen, and that's how they
definitely gotta
Mandalorian in the season. Like, hey, what's the Mandalorian doing? He's being a motherfucking bounty hunter is what he's doing. That's what he's doing right now. But he still cares about Grogu, so he goes, there's a whole
I gotta get that sword too. I'm like, I didn't know they made that sword.
Oh, don't worry. Wait, listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. This sword used to be on clearance at Walmart for like $5, right? The minute that episode came out, you go look your shit up online. Now it's like $100.
Oh shit.
Like, yo, it's amazing. Anyway, so yeah, so again, okay, so going back to Boba Fett for a second, I don't have a problem with Boba Fett. I understand why they have him outside of the mask because they're trying to get you to connect with him and not just.
I mean, we didn't get the Mandalorian out of the mask right away, so I don't get what the point of that is.
Because they're not trying to make him the same as the Mandalorian. They don't. Now, this is their mindset. They don't want you to watch 2 episodes with cool ass dudes in helmets. Hey, Disney, I want 2 shows with cool ass niggas in helmets. Okay, that's what I want. Give me what I want. That's what I want.
Give me what I want. All right.
And I'm sorry, that's my opinion. That's why I think fans are a little bit split on Boba Fett because you also get, for some reason they don't tell you till like episode 3. When you see him in this particular show, he also is spending time in a Bacta tank. A Bacta tank is like a healing tank, like a hyperbolic chamber. And they don't explain to you until like episode 3 why he's there. And they're just using it as a way to do his backstory. But it's cool. Like, I'm fine with his backstory. Like, they give Tusken Raiders a great, narrative and stuff. It's really great.
All right, so I'll definitely still check it out. But yeah, I feel like even if I go to the fucking store and meet strangers and I'm like, oh, what do you think of Boba Fett? People are like, it's all right.
Because everybody was like, ooh, this dude. Because again, you gave me, even in The Mandalorian, when you gave me Boba Fett as this big dude in this this big black outfit that looks a little bit heavier than the last guy you met. And literally, you don't understand why he has the Tusken Raider staff. They explain it in the show and why he looks the way he does, why he looks old and this and the other. They explain it in the show, like his backstory. His backstory is totally in the show. And then pretty much what you wind up getting in The Mandalorian is Boba Fett with the arm. Because the minute they show Boba Fett's armor, Star Wars fans if they got a penis, it immediately goes, holy shit, I'm gonna see Boba Fett. Is Boba Fett still alive? because you got Timothy Olyphant with his armor. So it's like, oh, and then Boba Fett shows up looking for his armor. He puts the armor on, and you're like, oh shit, look at him in his armor. Oh, then you get the show, and it's like, all right, here we go with the. He only wears the armor for like 10 minutes of like, and you're like, oh. And then like there's a scene. I think the thing that fucked me up.
It almost feels like when you're watching wrestling and you're looking for Finn Balor to show up as a demon, and he show up as just Finn Balor. And you're like, oh. Yeah. All right, next week. You know, they saving it for Mania. Then he come out at Mania. Oh.
Like, why would you do that? Like, why are you I personally don't think the show is bad. I just think that that's one of the main reasons why it's not. And I'll be honest too, it's just not as compelling. I'm gonna tell you one more. I'm gonna tell you one more scene from a Mandalorian episode in Boba Fett. That's fucking awesome, right? So he goes back to the Mandalore, his group of people, like the lady in the helmet or whatever. Like they don't show her face, and then a lot of them got killed or whatever. So it's one big dude with the like metal pack. I think it's in the toys. They don't give his name, but it's called Heavy Lifter. And he's just like this big ass dude, looks like a Braun Strowman sized dude in like a Boba Fett blue outfit, right? Or the Bounty Hunter blue outfit. And they're talking. Wait,
is that the guy with the Gatling gun?
Yes.
That dude. Okay.
You see, you can remember him, can't you? Because he's from the Mandalorian. He keeps his helmet on. Sorry. That's just me. But,
yeah, I remember when they showed. I remember the episode where they all showed up to help him out when they were outnumbered. Yeah, that's that episode.
So now, yeah, he shows up and then he goes back to them. Like he has to go on a quest to find the secret location of the new Mandalore place, right? He finds it after like cutting his leg or whatever and all this other stuff. He finds it, and then it's just the girl and this guy. And then he goes in and he's like, I got this dark saber. And she gives you the whole backstory to it. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm totally like, am I still watching Boba Fett? Because she's literally explaining to me like everything about Mandalorians and the dark saber. And there was also a little hint. There's also a little hint that I don't think that they put in there, foreshadowed something. And I don't know Star Wars lore, but there was once a bounty hunter that was given the option to be a bounty hunter or a Jedi, and he chose both.
Oh, shit.
So he was one of the greatest bounty hunters because he had a lightsaber.
And then in the next season, Billy D. Williams shows up like, it was me, guys. Let me stop now.
So the saber, what you find out really quickly is that saber belongs to a certain family of people of the Mandalorians. But then you find out something more, which is that big dude, that Braun Strowman sized dude, is actually a part of that family. So even behind the mask, because it's awesome acting to be behind the fucking mask, he's looking at the dark saber. You know how like if you bring up something and let's say you went to a Funko convention and you show up and you got that Mandalorian expensive pop. It's like, look at it. And you see some nigga looking at it like, that's a nice pop you got there. But you know the face.
I'll be like, this one right here. Man, this one?
That's a nice pop you got there. You know, I once was in the store with a guy and they snatched that from me. And he just looking at you and he just like, and then like Mandalorian's looking at the guy and they're both looking at each other, but he got helmets on, but you can tell by the way their camera's angled, he's looking at him and he's just like, well, how does somebody, they take the rules of Harry Potter and they go, how does somebody become the person to own the dark saber? It's called the dark saber. So the dark saber. Well, the only way you can lose the dark saber is in combat. They show the dude again. He's looking at him like that sword belonged to my family, and it's like, so they literally like they literally have a fight. And it's like a dope, amazing, like Star Wars fight where he's fighting with the dude, and like the dude almost gets the blade at one point. But it's just again, all of that.
Bro, I feel like you have definitely sold me to. I mean, I was gonna watch it anyway, but you definitely sold me to. Did I sell you on
Mandalorian season 3? Is that what?
Let's give Boba just like Danny Rand and Iron Fist. Just like Danny Rand and Iron Fist. Let's give him a chance.
Listen, there's nothing. Danny Rand cannot compare to Boba Fett because Boba Fett is still better than fucking Iron Fist was.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, that's just because I feel like I know a little bit more about Boba Fett, but I don't. I just need him back in the helmet, please. It's one last episode coming up next week, guys.
Please. Oh, good. That means I get to like kind of binge it then. In that case, that's pretty dope.
Binge away, or you could just skip to episode 5 and 6. Whichever.
No, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it all. I gotta.
If you skip those episodes and just go right to the finale, you won't miss a thing. You won't miss it.
Speaking of segue into the next segment. Speaking of AEW, which was I was very much looking forward to. I pulled out the popcorn machine this week. I don't pull out the popcorn machine for just any old occasion, but I pulled it out because this week on AEW All Elite Wrestling, we had CM Punk versus MJF.
I'm sorry, did you just do the DMD thing for MJF?
Yeah, it's a habit because I'll be at work like DMD. And at work, there are no wrestling fans at my job. So there are two things I do at work, just since we're on that subject that I do at work that I do just because it's funny because no one knows what the hell I'm doing. You know, Roman and Uso, they do We the Ones. So sometimes I stand in the doorway at my job and I go, We the Ones. And people are like, you feeling okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's a wrestling. And then I do the DMD. And they're like, the what? So I'm like, God. It's just a great inside joke for myself, just because people don't watch wrestling at work, which is, not their fault, to each his own, whatever you're into. But yeah, we got finally, just like when Cody was battling MJF, we had to do all the trials and shit, but he had to do the steel cages and all of this shit. CM Punk got the shit beat out of him by Wardlow. I think the only easy match CM Punk had on this journey to get to a fight with MJF is when he fought Shawn Spears. Mm-hmm. That was like a quick go to sleep. And it was like, all right, get the fuck out of here. But as we finally got to this match, the match was great. Like I thought it would be. First time ever, CM Punk versus MJF. But sadly, CM Punk did not come out on top, and his undefeated streak in AEW is no longer, as MJF, even after cheating, because the first time he choked the shit out of him with a piece of tape or some shit. Yep. And, the ref caught that. But still, at the end, Wardlow showed up. We all thought maybe Wardlow. I guess they really building that up. I can see them building that up kind of like Batista and Triple H. Remember when they had that and they had the contract signing where Batista fucking powerbomb Triple H through the table. So, yep, I guess maybe in some sense, maybe they just want to build it up more with Wardlow and MJF. So he came out and we thought he was going to betray him, but instead he gave him the ring, managed to clock CM Punk. 1, 2, 3. MJF now has new bragging rights. But another thing, just before you chime in, another thing I thought too, just going back to MJF the character and The Miz, I was like, both of these characters, it's funny how things imitate. And I was saying it earlier, like with Ted DiBiase, I'm thinking like, wow, these guys are like another generation. Like it's funny how you don't realize it till like over time, but these guys are like another iteration of Ted DiBiase in a sense. Like the arrogant, they don't have like per se the same gimmick, but it's that rich, I'm better than you type of vibe thing going on that The Miz and MJF both have. And I'm pretty sure that both of them would tell you that some of their influences probably came from $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who, when I was a kid and we used to watch, I literally always wanted to lose to Ted DiBiase so he could stuff $100 bill down my throat.
I'm with you on that. I think that what's cool about what they did with MJF for CM Punk was I was about 98% certain that MJF was going to win. And there's a couple reasons why. I think personally, AEW's main objective for these last 3 years, can you believe it's been fucking 3 years?
3 years already.
Been going on 3 years that they have been building up a roster of people that are AEW built, bred, and pushed over these other guys like CM Punk, like Christian Cage. The list goes on and on of people. Sting. If you pay close attention to what they're doing to each and every one of them, they're using other people who have already been a part of the industry to build their corporation. FTR is with who? Tony Blanchard. They're all together.
One of the original 4 horsemen. Woo!
Horsemen there. You got those in there. You got Sting with Darby Allin. You got, you have all these different people. Like I was just telling somebody recently, I said, I think that Lance Archer, who's one of my favorite characters, which funny enough, I was literally just having this conversation yesterday that I'm about to get my hair braided, and I'm actually going to get my hair braided like Lance Archer. Like I'm gonna have the red. I'm gonna choose red and blue. Like I'm gonna do one side blue, one side red. Just as something new, just to because.
That's right. You got to meet him before too. That's right.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude, and it's funny to me that like I feel like I didn't really pay attention because we were so young. We were watching this stuff. We've been watching this stuff for most of our lives, at least 90% of our lives. But what we didn't get a chance to do, which I think AEW is doing a great job with, is that I am feeling blessed and privileged at the moment in time that we are able to watch. Imagine having the mind you have now, but watching the stuff that we grew up with, the Ultimate Warriors, the this person, the that person. That's why the Attitude Era for people of our age group, people born in the 80s, people born in the 70s, is so fucking great, because you realize the fact that by the time you got old enough to really be able to analyze wrestling, this is the beautiful plate that was set before you. You were just like, all of this? Like the foundation played with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Randy and all of the other people like Earthquake and Andre the Giant, all these people that we saw with our eyes, but we really weren't encapsulated in the stories.
Shawn Michaels, all those.
So I think that they're doing a great job of that. I don't think everybody transitioned over to the reality era that we live in now within wrestling. This is the reality era where everybody knows what goes on behind the scenes. Kayfabe is like very little, like so little kayfabe. People are actually mad at The Undertaker that he broke kayfabe after 30 years. Get over it.
Yeah, right? I would agree, because it doesn't feel the same when I get like a character who's evil and mean, and then I see them on Instagram at IHOP with their family. It's like kind of like
here we live. So you got to say, like, I appreciate somebody like MJF, who wherever you go, like, I told you before. Do you remember what MJF did when I met him? When I met him? Oh
yeah, I remember. He like gave a middle finger to a fucking kid or some shit.
No, I'm thinking about Chicago. No, when he met you. Yeah, when he met me, I literally told him, I can't remember who he was. It might have been CM Punk he was feuding with at the same time. I don't remember who it was, but whoever it was, I think it was Chris Jericho. Yeah, Chris Jericho had just beat him in the last chapter of their whole thing. In
the chapters of Jericho or whatever.
How did that feel with Chris Jericho kicking your ass? He looked at me, and because of COVID, that nigga spit on the ground right in front of me and looked me in the eyes and walked away. And I was like, that's a heel. Like, I got excited. I was like, he is being MJF. He just got off the fucking bus. I was standing outside the arena. He just got off the bus. But this guy is MJF everywhere he goes. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I love it. I'm all for it. Like, again.
Another wrestler, and he's not... Another wrestler that just popped into my head, who I feel like, I don't know if he was ever really a gimmick, but seems like the same solid person throughout his entire wrestling career. And even now, when what he's doing with his son, Billy Gunn.
Yeah,
I'm like, you watch Billy Gunn at AEW, and you don't really seem that different than when he was in WWE in terms of like the way he talks and the way it seems like the same person. Like,
I'm gonna tell you the last time that he wasn't Billy Gunn that we know he was when he was a part of the Smoking Guns. That's the last
yeah, okay.
Him be somebody else. Like that's it. Other than that, he's just been Mr.
Yeah,
Ass.
once they broke up, like he just doesn't say "suck it" or "I got 2 words for." But other than that, he's still kind of. And that guy is in like the best shape of his life. We saw him in person, and I was like, "Yo, he must go to the same gym that The Rock go to because this guy is a balanced breakfast for sure."
Billy Gunn, I'm just gonna check his age right now because I know he's got to be at least 50. He's got to be at least 50.
And the guy is in the best shape of his life.
He is 6'3" and he's 58 years old.
Wow.
He could murder a 18-year-old because of like this dude.
Yeah. I'm very surprised. I know I'm jumping around with wrestlers. I'm so surprised that Booker T seems to be like the only wrestler who like went Hall of Fame status and kind of stayed there. Like he don't do no in-ring other than like a spin. Every once in a while he might give the crowd a spin-a-rooney. But other than that,
nope. That's not true.
No
own wrestling organization called Reality of Wrestling where he's still
no, not that. I mean like we don't see Booker T get his hands dirty anymore. Like he doesn't fight, is what I'm saying.
He still fight in his wrestling organization.
Does he fight? Because I've never watched his wrestling organization, so I'd have to watch that. But I never like WCW. I mean, not WCW, WWE, or any other place that I've seen him go since then. I feel like he's the only wrestler that even Sting, everybody else has jumped ship and gone other places, but you still see them in the ring fighting and stuff. But I mean, I have to check it out. But like WWE, he's just commentator. He like never so much as throw a fist or nothing.
I'm gonna tell you this because I check out his show called The Hall of Fame. You know what long ducats are?
Nope.
It's a phrase that he uses when he's talking about a lot of money. And when somebody asked him that before on the show, his answer was, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're paying me some long ducats to be a commentator. So why would I ever go in the ring and like do anything he said, I'm basically the Vince McMahon of my own wrestling organization. So there's really no what good would I be to WWE to come back and do some stuff for the fans when I should be using my platform as Booker T to promote my company. And that's what he does.
So it's just push other people. I get it.
Yeah, that's why he has the Hall of Fame with ESPN. And once in a while, he'll talk to some people from WWE, but he's on that Kevin Hart level, pretty much. The same reason.
Because I was wondering, because like, you see all these you see Bully Ray, you see all these other guys, and they're still like doing indie matches. They're still doing something somewhere. But I feel like Booker T, I just see him commentating and doing his stuff in his wrestling, but I don't see him strapping on the boots and the tights no more at all.
Did it like a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even that long ago because, like I said, I followed the Hall of Fame, his show, and he wrestles in his organization because he is legitimately like the Vince McMahon there. Like he comes there and the fans, cheer him or boo him, depending on what wrestler he's in the ring with, and it's all because he's all about like the people. He has wrestlers. I could look it up. I don't remember the exactly who it is, but he has wrestlers in AEW, WWE, and NXT from his.
That's dope.
That's his focus. That's his main focus.
I mean, everybody. I feel like they would definitely usher in the new wave of especially like AEW and all the wrestling organizations as a whole. But they're definitely ushering in a new era of wrestlers because the Brown Breaker, despite how terrible NXT is, I had no idea that guy was the son of fucking Rick Steiner. So like you look at Rick Steiner, then you go to AEW and you see Arn Anderson's son, you got Billy Gunn's son, like you got Hook, they are definitely ushering in a new era of, and Hook, come on, this guy, like his fame, like he I don't know why he reminds me of fucking Tom Hardy from The Fighter. This guy just comes to the ring. But you know what's funny? That was his father's persona. Like that's a lot of Taz. Taz was like, come to the ring, just straight business. Ain't kind of same thing like Brock Lesnar. I know Brock Lesnar is now like, kind of doing more talking and doing the cheesy stuff because that's what WWE does at the moment. But him too, he's like not that much of a talker. He's more like probably the most straightforward, aggressive, action wrestler they got besides maybe Bobby Lashley.
But that's the thing. Also, going back to Booker T for a second, Booker T is also only 1 year younger than fucking Billy Gunn. So also when you're almost 60 years old, again, why are you're gonna go into the ring?
Hey, look, Sting doing it. And they just literally had that little celebration for him. He said, hey, he is more so there to help push other people, but he doesn't still enjoy being in the ring every once in a while.
Sting is in the ring about once a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, again, because Sting, I'm pretty sure, if I look up Sting, I'm pretty sure Sting is probably older than both of them.
Like Sting, 60, a little over 60.
Let's see.
Yeah, because you saw that the thing. What? How old?
62.
Yeah, 62. Because there was they had the last time when him and Darby fought that one tag team, and afterwards Tony Khan and they had the little thing for him, and and somebody in the audience was like, he's my grandpa or something. You're like, hey, I ain't that. Hey, look, I still got a little bit in the tank.
Ain't nobody grandpa, you get the hell out of here.
Oh, that also reminds me too of other classic. I'm on a whole binge with my wrestling Funkos, and I'm missing Sting, Black and White Sting and Wolfpack Sting. I gotta get those. I gotta put those on my list. I got 4 that I'm looking for. This month I'm looking to get AJ Lee. AJ Lee has a signing coming up at the end of this month in Secaucus. So I got goals. So I'm trying to find right now somebody that I can get the AJ Lee pop for a decent price, and then I gotta go because I'm like, can't miss this chick again because she don't do them that often.
The convention in February.
Shit, I don't even remember off the top of my head. It's like a low budget promotion thing, but I saw her on there and I was like, holy shit, definitely got to go to that. It's pretty expensive though. It'll probably be the most expensive meet and greet since Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd.
How much
is
it?
Like 300 or something like that. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's like 300, and that's the lowest tier.
Yeah, I'm good. She on that hiatus. Oh, where you gonna get me? And I totally get it. I respect your money. I don't nobody's money in that sense of what you want to charge. But I'm just gonna let you know, I'm not gonna pay that shit. That's not unless she's like, hey, if you do $300, we gonna do
it's $300. If I'm not mistaken, it's $300, and you get a professional photo and 2 autographs.
It's not okay. That's not too bad because I could see splitting that, but then I don't give a shit about AJ Lee like that. No offense, I don't give a shit about her. Like she's not on my list of people that I'm like, oh, I got to get an autograph of AJ Lee. Like, no, I'm good.
And I was always a huge fan of hers, so I'm definitely gonna do that. But now,
maybe you know what? I know what I could do. I could just go buy myself a autograph of AJ Lee from the WWE website.
Oh, okay. Look, well then, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna repeat what you just said to yourself. Good luck with that. You might have a better chance finding gold dust. Like, good luck. You
don't see shit from any of those people, man. They gone.
Not no more. Nah, you got to go to like some vintage person for that stuff. But again, I think, was that all the news for wrestling? Because I'm thinking like WWE didn't really do much. I mean, other than Raw and SmackDown, where we had I think Ron. I didn't even watch tonight, honestly, SmackDown, except was it the beginning? I watched the beginning. Goldberg showed up and challenged Roman at Elimination Chamber. which is just like not only sad, but it's like I don't because also I don't see them squashing Goldberg. I kind of see the same outcome happening. I see somebody cheating and either Goldberg getting choked like Seth Rollins got choked, or I see like I don't know. I just see cheating happening so that they can kind of, I don't know. I'm a little bit at a loss for it. I don't know who Ronda picked to fight at Mania, but I think they need some type of spin on all that stuff. But other than that, I'm like, I didn't really watch SmackDown, or I don't know. Look, I'm like, they're doing some stuff, and yeah.
I cannot tell you how. I thought you were joking when you texted me. It was just like, oh yeah, Goldberg is. Come on.
No, literally, I can't. I kid you not. I came in the house late. I came in the house late for because I was out doing like Instacart and stuff. Came in the house, and Roman was in the ring. Paul Heyman was talking about like different stuff, and then the music hit. Boom, boom, and I said, "Oh, they going all out. They gonna making sure that people buying them tickets for Mania." I mean. Literally, I mean, bravo for that. Bravo for. I'm gonna just say bravo at the fact that there's nobody who can ever tell me that WWE knows how to make money.
Wait. Come on, you said Mania. You mean Elimination Chamber?
No. I'm saying like they know how to build up the stuff to get ready for Mania. Goldberg coming back against Roman for Elimination Chamber, Brock Lesnar, like they know how to. If it's one thing, maybe they have a lot of work left to do when it comes to storylines, but when it comes to making money, I'm like all the players is here: Goldberg, Ronda Rousey, Roman, Brock Lesnar. It's like I'm like they know. I just feel like they didn't bring Goldberg back for no reason. I feel like he's either gonna wind up in a triple threat match with Brock and Roman, or he's gonna wind up fighting somebody else entirely too at Mania. Like they didn't bring him back for no reason. Same thing with Ronda. Ronda ain't just show up like, hey guys, it's Mania. We need to make that money. So all hands on deck.
While you're sitting there talking about that, I forgot to look up what Ronda's announcement was for SmackDown. What did Ronda?
Who was it? Because I didn't even watch that part. So did she wind up picking Becky, Charlotte, or both? I don't know. Both again. Let's get the same match going again.
Well, she didn't choose both last time. It was the fact that Charlotte Flair inserted herself into the match. That's what that was.
I would honestly like to see Charlotte fight somebody else, preferably someone who's either we haven't seen in a long time, or because first and foremost, tell me how does this make any sense? Unless she's gonna wind up fighting Charlotte at Mania, tell me what storyline was. Okay, so let me get this straight, right? Because this happened. This really happened. Okay, so Lita came back a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, right? So Lita came back on SmackDown. Oh my god, which was another pop that like I get excited for. Lita, fucking legend, of course, Hall of Famer. She comes back. She's challenging Charlotte for the SmackDown title. Charlotte kind of laughs her off, says you're old, you've had your time, you're a legend, but fuck off. Okay. Then we go to the Royal Rumble, where Charlotte literally said on SmackDown she was going to be the one to eliminate Lita. Lita fought in the Royal Rumble, did pretty well, and ultimately Charlotte was right. Charlotte Flair was the one that eliminated Lita from the Royal Rumble. Am I right? Follow me so far? Okay, so fast forward to Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch is in the ring. All right, this happened. This is going on. Lita's music hits. Lita comes out, challenges Becky Lynch to a match for the Raw title at Elimination Chamber. I'm confused because if we're doing a consistent storyline here, shouldn't Lita have come out on SmackDown and challenged Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown title at Elimination Chamber? I'm just saying, because if if Charlotte Flair eliminated me from the Royal Rumble, why am I going after a totally different person? Wouldn't I want some revenge against the person who eliminated me? So wouldn't it make sense for Lita to fight Charlotte Flair?
I can't speak to stupid shit, but that's the best. The thing that all I want to say is that I don't know why, but this nigga looks fat in the picture. Like, why does he look fat? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna discredit that for him. He ultimately, he's getting up in age, so yeah, you can only work out but so much, right?
So next week, because they're trying to build up the show, Naomi is getting a women's title shot against Charlotte, which she's gonna lose.
It says Ronda Rousey chooses Charlotte Flair as WrestleMania opponent. I'm very confused there, but it seems like an easy win. Just like so we still don't get Becky Lynch versus Ronda. Here's my question: Who's making the decisions in the back? Is it just like a?
No. Check this out, right? So Becky is not in the same place that she was when Ronda Rousey was here before. She was the man, and since they lost that lawsuit, she's got to be big time Bex.
I know she's big time Bex, but we all wanted Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey.
Oh, we don't. We don't want this Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the simple fact.
We want Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, who the last time they fought ended with Ronda winning because Charlotte went on a hissy fit because she kept kicking out and like tried to beat her to death with a kendo stick,
which was fucking amazing. That was, to me, I'm gonna tell you just like this. Charlotte Flair is the only woman who fought Ronda Rousey, and you guys can challenge me in the comments with this if you want. She's the only woman who fought Ronda Rousey and walked away from that match with the heat. Like, she left the match with the heat. She left the ring after fighting Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey was laying there hurt.
Yeah, but she also used a weapon. so wait, I'm sorry. What? I'm like, you don't get no street cred if you. What gets you more street cred? If me and you had a fist fight and I beat you up and I left you down on the ground, I walked away, or if somebody goes, yo, who won out of Ronnie and Markell? Oh, Ronnie won. But he blindsided Markell with a bottle in the beginning of the fight. Man, he ain't win, fans. Go ahead. People will be like, man, you don't get that much street cred then.
What's at stake here? Remember the fact that at that moment in time, Charlotte was the champion. And just like her daddy, the way that Ric Flair retained the title many, many times was the fact that by any means necessary, he made sure that regardless of whether he won or lost, he walked in the back with the world title.
Yeah, whether he got disqualified or not.
Yeah, if you walk in the back, if you want to walk back to your locker room and sit your world title belt down and not lose.
Well, see, there's an easy fix there called make it a no disqualification. I mean, we probably write better storylines at this point. so if you were gonna make a match worthy, because I don't really give a shit about seeing Ronda versus Charlotte. That's just me. I'm a fan of both. I like Ronda Rousey, but I feel like I just got meh. If Brock doesn't win the Elimination Chamber, get the WWE title back and fight Roman title versus title, I don't really give a shit about WrestleMania. Because what else is, and then who's okay, we know Lita's not gonna beat Becky at the Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch is gonna find some way to pull the tights or something and win. So who's fighting Becky now at Mania? Is it Bianca Belair? Oh, wait, that's right. She's in the same class with Big E and Coffee where they don't get rematches for their titles. That's right.
Yep. I think what you also have to realize too that they have to fill up the card for 2 days now. They put themselves in this 2-day slot bullshit.
They need to get rid of that bullshit too, because nobody gives. I mean, I don't care about half the shit they already set up. Now I got to watch for 2 days, and who's like they're set. I don't know. Mania. This year's Mania is shaping up to be kind of so far.
I mean,
because think about it. Like I'm already thinking like Drew McIntyre at Elimination Chamber is fighting that madcap guy. Who's he fighting at Mania? A handicap match between Baron and Madcap. Like who's like
right now,
what other matches do you have? Who's fighting Damian Priest for the United States title? Kevin Owens again? Like the same fucking people, dude. Like, what is happening?
I hope that he's not interested in that. I just really hope that. I also hope the fact that they're not having Shinsuke and Damian Priest hold on to these belts and not defend them. Like Shinsuke fought tonight in a non-title match against Jinder Mahal. Okay. It's cool to see him fight, but you know what's really cool?
I don't know. If you haven't seen, Shinsuke is definitely going to lose that title to fucking, what's the name? Sami Zayn. It's no doubt. It is no doubt in my mind that he's gonna lose that. If he go ahead fights him, he's gonna lose that title to Sami Zayn.
Is he gonna cheat?
To Seth Rogen's older brother.
I am not sold by Sami Zayn at all. I just honestly, I'm just not sold by the WWE's product that they present to me at all. To be honest, you know who? Now I will say I differ a little bit with you when it comes to Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. I think, regardless of whether or not anybody wants to own up to it, Charlotte Flair is the best women's champion in wrestling today. Because I'm calling a spade a spade.
Nah,
go. You can put Charlotte Flair in the ring with anybody from any wrestling organization, and that will be a classic match. The problem is that
no, she's good. I'll give her that. But they have Sasha Banks. They got Bianca Belair. They got other talent that's on the same level as Charlotte. They just pretend that those people aren't on the same level as Charlotte.
No. I understand what you mean. I'm talking about in this match particularly, I want to see it. But the problem that is, this is what differs to me, that I feel like that match is not going to be as great as it could be. If Ronda Rousey was really coming back, Ronda should have been just like Brock Lesnar and had her trunks on instead of the big ass leather jacket and the shirt that clearly doesn't fit that well.
Well, no, I'll give her a pass on that. I mean, remember, she still is a mom and she is still nursing, because she did post some pictures literally after the Rumble and she was breastfeeding in the back. So I think that's why she was dressed like that. So she's still doing some mom duties on top of coming back for wrestling.
But I'm talking about going in. So it's currently February. You have about 2 months into Mania, right? I need Ronda Rousey in ring shape. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to get this rusty ass Ronda who ain't been in the ring for 3 years in there with Charlotte Flair. And what's basically going to happen is Charlotte Flair is going to have to carry that match because Ronda Rousey is not in ring shape. Because you can't just be sitting there. Yeah, of course, you're a mom. You got to nurse the dude. You got to nurse the kid and this, that, and the other. But I'm pretty sure there's other moms in the UFC that have UFC fights. And,
I don't know why. I'm still confused why we never got Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte Flair. Because when they're not doing the bullshit, if we could go back and reprogram, like if we could turn off the Shayna Baszler we got and reprogram the one from the real NXT that doesn't exist anymore, that Shayna Baszler would choke Charlotte Flair out.
Yep. The thing is Charlotte, I'm gonna just go ahead and just say it. And I'm sorry if she punches me in the face if I say it. Shayna Baszler sucks, and I think that she needs to go back to NXT.
But that's the thing. She didn't suck when she was in NXT. Like with her gimmick and she had her little cronies. I felt like she was like a female version of Taz, because all she had her little Bill Alfonso's that used to run around and cheat and shit, and she ended a lot of matches choking people out like, oh shit, you know. So like I feel like, but when she came up to the main roster, it's like that Shayna Baszler retired, or it's almost like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That one, a pod got that one, and then this new one came up that was with Reggie and doing it. And
I'll give you a reference straight from the show. I think what happens is when you come up to the main roster from the original NXT, you get a butterfly in your head.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what happened. And then she came up like, wait, what? Oh, jump around with Reggie? Do some silly skits with Nia? Okay, I'll do that instead. Because think about it. If I'm wrong, what happened to the same Shayna Baszler who fucking brutalized an entire group of women in that elimination chair? When is the last time you saw that Shayna Baszler? Because that's the Shayna Baszler I'm talking about. That was what she was in NXT. That was the one that was ragging people and no, leave me alone. And that was Shayna Baszler. But that one, I feel like that was the last time we saw that version of that one. And then she got butterflied, and they were like, okay, now go make TikTok videos. And she's like,
sadly, Shayna Baszler to me looks like she got hit with this is how Vince McMahon operates. And a lot of people have already said this, whether they with the company or not. The way Vince McMahon operates is today he's looking at you and he's like, that's the shit right there. Look at that, Shayna Baszler, yeah. And then he can just see you walking down the hallway one day and just go, nah, she ain't got it. Take her off.
Yeah, I don't like her. You mean like Otis? You mean like how 1 minute Otis had the money in the bank, and then I feel like that, that same conversation. They were sitting at a dinner or something, and he was staring at Otis like, nah, give it to the Miz.
And we're gonna put him. You know what it is Otis. Oh, I can tell you what it was with Otis. In order for you to have that strap, you need to have a basic level of promo, performance, and audience reaction. You need all of those. You need all of those things in order. These are big factors in contributing to that. And let's be straight up. Tony Schiavone just made a book called Putting Asses in Seats. And if you are a champion who wears that belt, and just by the fact that you are going to be there puts asses in seats, you can be a champion in WWE. It's pretty much that simple. Now, Big E was a champion that could put asses in seats because of the New Day. Drew McIntyre, unfortunately, funny enough, Drew McIntyre got the same deal as, if you think about it, Drew McIntyre and Jon Moxley became champions in their organizations around the same time. We watched Jon Moxley win at the end of February, and in the beginning of April, Drew McIntyre won the world title. And for about 6 to 8 months, maybe longer, these guys literally were fighting in front of nobody.
Yeah, pretty much.
First, they were fighting in warehouses with nothing. And then they were fighting with and then at the same time, if you remember, I feel bad for Drew McIntyre, and I hope one day he does get a proper run again. And the reason being is that you got to remember, while he was champion, we got, what was the booty ass faction that Mustafa Ali was supposed to
Revolution or some shit?
Yeah. We got those guys, and we got Raw Underground at the same time. So shit was just bad in WWE. And it was like you couldn't really focus too much on Drew McIntyre because, let's face it.
Because that's around the same time where AEW got the Dark Order. Or were forming the Dark Order.
Yeah. I mean, they had the Dark Order, but then like Brody Lee came around, and like AEW just had more interesting things happening. And I can tell you the one big difference, not one time did fucking AEW decide, you know what we're going to do? We're going to add video game noise to the TV so that when you're watching a empty arena full of people or empty warehouse full of people, you're gonna get.
Well, I can't really knock them. They were probably experimenting back then.
I can knock them because you know what's funny? They still do that shit now with audiences. I've noticed. I've sat there and I've watched, and somebody comes out, and I'm looking, and I can see, and they try to cut away from the audience a lot. I watch and see Roman Reigns come out there and a bunch of people booing him, and then all of a sudden the boo just becomes like one noise machine, just one single boo. Like it's just so they add in the noise from the video game. And I'm just like, you know, the difference between me sitting there and hearing the crowd in the video game is I'm playing the fucking game. I know there's not an audience here to cheer while I'm playing this game, so that makes sense there.
I will probably faithfully still buy the video game, but I'm gonna talk to the guy at GameStop first because he warned me about the last one. I don't get it. It's like Glitch City. Hopefully this one, I have a feeling that they probably learned their lesson from that. This new one won't be Glitch City, but we'll see.
We shall see indeed.
But well, God knows that PS5, man, whew, that thing is amazing. So like, I mean, in terms of like anybody out, you don't even got to have a PS5 to know the fucking pain of sitting and waiting for your console to update. And that shit can sometimes take a long, whether you have PlayStation or Xbox, you've at least sat a few minutes and been like, God damn, that shit ain't done yet. But that PS5, I have every time I play this, I literally was just playing it last night. And it needed an update, and I pressed update, and I feel like before I could go get a cup, when I went and got a cup of water, when I came back, it was done. And I'm like, yeah, wow, thank you guys for fixing that so much, because holy crap.
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't something that I feel like they needed to fix per se. The thing is that they have gotten to a place in technology where the computers that they're selling you, that's pretty much what the Xbox and the PlayStation is. It's just a fancy computer made by Sony and Microsoft. The computers that they're selling you in terms of technology have gotten to a place where things that are on disk are old and antiquated to these things, which is why they made a digital system or a disk system. So now we're at the point where a disk is like nothing. Like it's nothing to load this disc. Like if you look at an average Blu-ray that they have, like a Blu-ray can hold like 15 gigs. How much, like if I gave you a 15 gig memory card and said, don't use it all, Ronnie, it's gonna get filled up so fast. So the technology has finally caught up to a point where a disc that holds merely just 15 gigs for a machine that is literally like $1,000 computer can easily go done, update, done. And then at the same time, inside that thing, you actually get a device. Hey guys, you know, whenever I always used to tell this back in the day when I used to work at the Apple plantation. Right there, I used to tell people, listen, if you decide to upgrade your technology, make sure that your internet speed actually matches up with your technology. So if you have, or at least get a piece of technology that can match up with the speeds of it, because just because you bought the new iPhone 17 doesn't mean the internet in your house is going to change. If you still got the $20 plan from Optimum and you're like, oh, what's my download speeds? 15 megabytes per second. And it's like,
I guess my internet's pretty good because I want to pre-order the NWO edition. I think that's like the one that has all the bells and whistles, and you know me, I'm like, I just gotta have the fucking ultimate, so I ain't gotta be worrying about other stuff, because ultimately that's what video game companies, everybody else wants you to do any damn way. Because if you just get the standard edition, you're gonna be annoyed at the fact that something's gonna show up. You're like, oh shit, you could do that, or this character's available, and you're not gonna be able to do it. So you might as well just get the goddamn ultimate edition, which is the NWO pack or whatever. I just won't ever use Hulk Hogan. That's all. But that's a whole nother subject. But
I Hulk Hogan, why?
But I think
let me tell you something, nigger. I mean,
oh shit! Oh my god! But yeah, I think
let's do another take on that. Let's do another take on that. Let me tell you something, nigger. I just can't. I don't know why. Just like if anybody doesn't know, let me say it for you guys. If you don't know what Hulk Hogan said, let me give you a little paraphrase.
Just go ahead. Just tell them to YouTube it. Tell them. Just go on YouTube and look it up. It was a whole big thing happened.
It was a much bigger thing.
Yeah, it's why you don't see him around that much these days.
Which okay, this last thing. This is why it's so ironic and hilarious that he said the N-word. You can go and see the whole thing, as Ronnie said, on YouTube. Because there is a famous botch by Booker T, somebody we talked about in the show, that actually uses Hulk Hogan's name. It's literally, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. And that is hilarious.
Oh yeah. I think that was another accident that he made, I think. And that during promo that time.
He was doing an interview with Sensational Sherry, and he was in the Teen Harlem Heat with his brother.
And you could tell after he said it, he was like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't
put a thing over his face, like. Oh. And it's just hilarious that he would use the word "nigger" with Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan decided to reciprocate.
It wasn't. That's not what he was doing at all. It just, that's a whole nother. We'll see that.
I'm so nervous to say "nigger." Like I don't understand.
No, not that. I mean, I'm just like, that's a whole another topic. No, it just that whole situation is just a sad situation. But unfortunately, somebody he's completely canceled in that regard. But going back, bringing it full circle, Whoopi Goldberg is definitely not canceled, and we're still here rooting for her. She said what she said, and
we'll see how Sister Act 3 does.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Just so you know, if I'm not mistaken, Disney is a Jewish company.
Hey, look, water under the bridge. Mistakes. If it's one thing that we've learned from the Disney cartoon movies, is that mistakes can happen, and you can learn from your mistakes and move on.
Hey, Ronnie, ask Raven Simone if she still work at The View.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Ronnie and Markell podcast show. Zoom edition. As always, you can follow us on all our social media platforms. We got Ron Bar Podcast on Twitter.
We also have Ronnie and Markell Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Please follow us
and make sure you subscribe to our wonderful YouTube channel. Share it with your friends, your family, not the little ones, because we do a little bit of cussing sometimes. So you don't want to share it with the little ones.
Not the little niggas. We don't need them.
Only the big ones. Only the bigger ones, but not the smaller. Not the little ones, just the bigger ones, but not the little ones.
It's all good. It's all good. Yes, it has been another wonderful show. Thank you guys once again for taking the time to listen to us. Whether you're staring at her face and seeing me dying laughing over here, or seeing Ronnie do the head nod, and look, he's ducking. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What up?"
But it's been another wonderful show. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Of course, every single week we're trying to get you a show available to you so you can see our pretty little faces. This is the Zoom edition of the Ronnie and Markell Make It Podcast Show. I am Markell.
And I'm Ronnie.
And this has been another show. So please tune in next time where we will dissect Hulk Hogan.
No, we won't.
Ronnie's like throwing up the shields like, please, no more Hulk Hogan.
No.
I'm gonna get his action figure for you. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh my God. No thanks. But I will say, we are gonna try to next thing we want to do in the future for our show is try to have a few special guests. Trying to line up some people. Rub it out. Look, rub it off the ring rust from doing that because we haven't had a guest in a while. So
Ronnie is working on trying to get Leanne, the director of Student Bodies, which is coming to Amazon in February, and somebody who gave me the thumbs up, okay, but we'll see once we contact them. Mr. Benjamin Percy, he's pretty cool. We talked to him actually at C2E2 before.
Cool dude.
Update with him on his X Deaths and X Lives of Wolverine, which is an interesting series. So definitely stay tuned. Those are the ones that we're currently working on, but there are other ones that were in the pike that we don't want to mention just yet. So please stay tuned. Guests will be coming, and another show will be coming next week. See you next time, guys.
Adios.
Let me hit that button. We'll be like, oh man, where's that button? Oh, it's right over here. Here we go. There it is. And